Hi, my name is Stefan Gravel. I'm curator here at the Sci-Fi Centennial Museum in Winnipeg at the Sci-Fi 100 conference. Fortunately, not everyone could make it, so we thought, well, maybe they would like to have a virtual tour. So if you'll come along for the ride, we're going to do this in a few parts. This is part one. So we're at the entrance, and I just want to draw your attention to a few things. Our museum hours, but also here we go. This is the bronze plaque that was installed at the City Hall here in Winnipeg to commemorate the fact that our institute was founded in 1913, right here in Winnipeg, by some folks with vision and commitment to grow the profession. So we're quite proud of that, and we managed to get it on loan here at the museum. So what we're going to do now is, this is the end of part one. It's just an intro. What you'll see in the museum is a couple of things. You'll see about a dozen themed areas, and we have what I call themed hardboards, so food safety, air quality, those kinds of things. So we'll go and we'll just look at some of the highlighted areas, and if you're interested in seeing those themed hardboards or downloading them or printing them, they're available online. Just go to www.sci-fi100.ca. All right, this is part one. Come on. Hello again, welcome to part two. We're now in the museum, and we're going to visit a couple of the highlighted areas that I was talking about. Unfortunately, we can't do a complete catalog, so if you're interested in seeing artifacts in greater detail, I know other members, visitors have done their own YouTube postings, so you'll probably find them by just doing sci-fi and museum, and you'll find various parts of this tour. So come on in. We're going to have a quick look at this section. I call it the forlorn hope of sanitation then and now. And again, this themed hardboard's online. You can check it out and download it and do as you please. But the interesting thing here is Sir Edwin Chadwick is referenced. Sir Edwin Chadwick published this book in 1842. And this is actually a first edition. And it's a report on the sanitary conditions of laboring populations of Great Britain. And why this is important is this is what spurred the development of the first Public Health Act, which propagated itself across the Commonwealth afterwards. So it was basically a social justice thing. So, and there's a nice colored map of the whole cholera outbreak investigation and why that mattered and why public health matters. And the reason the UK is important to us is that's where our system comes from. Prior to 1935, we'll just travel over here, the Royal Sanitary Institute certified all our professionals. And there were very few across the country that actually were RSA certified, or RSI certified rather. And this is a founding member here, Alex Cross. But we also have other founding members from Winnipeg and Regina who held this certificate, or ones very similar to it. So just walking over here to finish up part two. Here you can see the officer family. It was a father-son combination. They were founding members as well. The eldest was certified by the Sanitary Association of Scotland. And so these gentlemen got together and they basically created sci-fi. They decided that we need to have control over our own destiny, our own standards, our own certification. So that's part two. I hope you enjoyed it. Hi, welcome back to part three of the tour of the Sci-Fi Centennial Museum. This themed area is this communicable diseases area. It's fighting the good fight versus infectious diseases. And prior to vaccination and immunizations and antibiotics, health inspectors were on the front line. And quarantine was probably the biggest and most effective tool out there. So this is just a collection of signs used in that era. And can you imagine having to keep people under house arrest for days, weeks, and months? That's basically what it came down to. But one oddity that I want to draw your attention to is this one here, and it was kindly loaned to us by the Durham Health Region. And it basically says if you have chickenpox, or there's chickenpox in this house, stay away, danger. So we all kind of chuckle about that now, but back then this was serious, and it was hard to tell the difference between chickenpox and smallpox and other ailments. So just one of those quirky things of history. Another item that I'll draw your quick attention to is we used to use a lot of DDT, controlling mosquitoes and preventing diseases like Western encephalitis. And that's basically it for the communicable disease section. Now, one last note. Again, other members have gone through the museum and they've posted their own YouTube videos, and maybe they've zoomed in a lot longer on specifics. I'd encourage you to check out their postings too. We're just doing a quick flyby today, and that's part 3. Hi, welcome to part 4 of the tour. In this section, we have a collection of videos, and I'd like to draw your attention to a couple of them. We found some real gems at the National Film Board of Canada. We have Out Beyond Town, which is a 1948 film about an outbreak on a farm and some folks sick in the family, and the health inspector goes out and tries to investigate the source and gives them good advice on how to protect themselves, and they take it to heart, and they do. A really good video, and these are all, you can order all of these actually from the National Film Board online, and that's where we got them. Another one that's interesting is Behind the Menu, a 1950 classic. It's a food handling safety video, probably the first one that the earliest version we've ever seen. And it's quite interesting. It's set in Ottawa, and if you're from that area, you'll see some historical footage and some really interesting practices and standards. And just 10 minutes, some popcorn, you're in biz. And here's just a shot of Out Beyond Town, which is that rural sanitation one I was telling you about. Hello, it's me again. Welcome to the Forerunners in Food Safety area. And we've got a lot of artifacts here, and I won't spend a lot of time on any specific, or on all of them, but I do want to zero in on one that I think is of interest that a lot of people will go wow, because it's got a little bit of a wow factor. It's the Jameson Environmental Swabbing Test Kit, circa 1940s. And interestingly enough, it is the first environmental swab kit developed in Canada and adopted by the US Public Health Service. It became part of standard methods, and it was the workhorse for 50, 60 or more years. In fact, province of Saskatchewan, some folks still use it there. So it's historical, and it's interesting because it was created right here at the University of Manitoba by Professor Jameson. We didn't even know that. We just detected this as part of our research for this museum, and we tried to reconstitute it, and it was just one of those gems that just came out of the woodwork. Hey folks, we're at the end of the tour. This is part 6, and before I say goodbye and wish you well, what we're going to do is my cameraman Mike, he's going to go walk around and just pan in, zoom in on a couple of things that he thinks you might be interested in as well, and give you a couple of panoramic shots. So thanks again for joining us, and see you in 100 years.
How easy to raise a family under such conditions. Sickness, they don't even think of it. That's Paul, the youngest of the Wilsons. A healthy-looking youngster, isn't he? He goes his own way with no worries on this beautiful summer day. There's Mr. Wilson, lucky to have a well so handy, he thinks, as he washes his face in cold water. And here's Mrs. Wilson. You look busy this morning, Mrs. Wilson. And no wonder, she thinks. There's a lot of work to do around the farm. Yes, there's people and animals to feed, and dishes to wash, and water to carry. And Mrs. Wilson, like many other people, doesn't realize how dirty water seeping into the well and flies from the manure pile threaten the health of the whole family. Innocent children like Paul do not know the danger of poor wells. And so, a short time later,